Realtors community, welcome to another Tuesday interview. This is Dave Savage, CEO of Mortgage Coach, and I've got an amazing mortgage professional, an amazing realtor, and we're going to rock it out for you guys today. We're going unplugged interview. That means if you have questions, bring them in, whether it's Facebook Live, whether it's through our Zoom channel. We do have some questions prepared, or I should say I have questions prepared. But let's start off. We've got Mr. Ben Anderson, one of the top 20 mortgage professionals in the country. What's up, Ben?
Yo. Thanks for having me again. Always a pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. If you could, just for anyone who hasn't been on a call and hasn't heard your story, if you could just tell us a little bit about your mortgage practice. Where are you? A little bit about your volume and how you roll.
Great. I'm at Lend US. Great organization. Tons of support here for myself and for my group. I run a branch out of Irvine, California, and I cracked $3 billion in my career over the past year, and that's about average of $200 million a year, and last year I did $235 million. So finding it just greater ways to reinvent myself and keep that trajectory pointing higher and higher.
Love it. Congratulations. Great job. Looking forward to hearing more about your goals this year and how you're crushing it. We also have top realtor, Paul Benson. How you doing, Paul? Can't hear you, Paul. You might be muted. You're not muted on our end.
How about now?
Well, yeah, boom. We can hear you. We got
Fantastic. Good morning, Dave. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for making time. I know you're traveling, going places. Tell us a little bit about your real estate practice and your business.
Absolutely. My home base is Park City, Utah. I started in 2004. My best year is a little over 100 homes. I average a little over 60 homes a year. I have passed the $1 billion range in home sales, specializing in luxury homes, specializing in second homes. I've branched out, opening offices for the Engel Volkers franchise throughout the state of California, as well as Lake Tahoe region, and have listings from the San Juan Islands, Steve Miller, the rock band, rock star's home up in the San Juan Islands, all the way to an island in the Caribbean, and listings in Italy. So pretty global right now, and love working with Ben.
Love it. So I'm going to hit you both with this question to kick it off. What is winning in 2018? What are the one or two things that matter most? And at the end of the year, if you achieve them, you're like, I killed it. I had a great 2018.
For me, winning is really two things. It encompasses just taking over using media and using your brand. So winning means getting your own business and sharing with your partners. So media, branding, and sharing business with your partner.
Love it. Paul, how would you answer that?
For me, it's right now having the ability to change quickly, react quickly. I think our industry is changing faster than it's ever changed in the last year to 2 years. We might have seen the most change we've seen in 20 years. So I think clients are expecting us to do more. They're expecting us to have relationships like we have with Lend US. They're expecting us to have a full service suite, as we call it, of pretty much anything and everything that their lifestyle would require in a move. And that's what's going to help us stand apart in 2018, 19, and beyond.
Love it. So you guys both do a lot of volume. You're closing a lot of units. You're helping a lot of families. By the way, Marcy, I know I'm getting a little static, a little clap here and there. If you could figure out who that is and possibly do them. Marcy, are you hearing that too, or is it just me?
I hear it as well.
Okay, so if anyone's on the call and you're not talking, you could make sure you're on mute, and we'll figure out where this cracking is coming from. Apologies to anyone listening live or to the recording. So Ben, doing all that volume, doing all that business, what is winning the day? What's your day-to-day look like?
It starts by winning the first hour of the day. I still believe you win the first hour of the day, you win your day. A lot of loan guys get started out, get in traffic, don't really have a system to get their day started, check emails, and then it's noon. So for me, it's about preparation and planning the day before so that I could win the day that I'm on. And when I go to bed, my suit's picked out. I know what I'm wearing, so I don't get up in the dark and trip over my shoes and don't know where I'm going. So I'm very meticulous. I plan my mornings. So by the time my staff gets in the office, 8 o'clock, I'm originating. Everyone has delegated responsibilities, and I have my tasks. I time block everything that I do. And if I accomplish everything on my list, I've won the day. And I can only do that by planning and preparation.
So give us an example of some of those things you do in the first hour of the day. Because I've heard this before. I mean, the best of the best plan the day before. They're working a plan. They wake up, they get to it. But, just walk us through, what is that first hour for Ben Anderson?
The first hour of my day is cleaning out any emails that came out from the night before. So from that time until about 8 o'clock, I'm giving every single person on my team their chore list. Anything that's administrative or clerical that I call like non-money tasks, I'm doing before the day starts, which is emails, any text returns, any file reviews, any outlining people have to reach out to that day, just whole game planning. Just like for a sporting event, I'm game planning before the game starts. So when the clock strikes, let's go, 8 o'clock in the morning for me, I'm literally highest and best use activities, chasing down realtors, talking to Paul in meetings and in client-focused activities.
Love that. And then what about prospecting? How are you ensuring that you're getting your sales time and your prospecting time in, daily? And what is that prospecting time? Because I'm sure you have not won the day unless you've hit your prospecting and sales time.
Right. So every day is different. Like on Mondays, for example, I'm calling my past clients, my pre-quals that were from over the weekend, and any agents from open houses. On Tuesday, I'm all about new agents and new business from my internet campaign, my funnels from my borrowers that call me, from any direct mail campaigns. So it's really blocking out my day. When things come up in my day that aren't making me money, I put them in a bucket and I get them done after my day is over. So it's really on the phone answering every single phone call, but I have a category. So I have a system. I'm not just running through a bunch of old leads. It's, hey, these are borrowers who have pre-qualified over the past 30 days that are shopping for homes. There's 65 of them. I'm going to block out 2 hours to call all 65 and make sure I update myself. Then I'm going to my 18 real estate partners that had open houses over the weekend and seeing what business is there. So it's really keeping in one lane at a time gets me a lot more production because I'm focused on making one kind of call at a time. That way I don't mentally exasperate myself. And I can get through 60 or 70 or 80 like calls at one time because that's where my focus is. That's where my mindset is at that time.
Love that. How much time do you commit to prospecting, call it sales one time per day? I know when I interviewed Josh Metal, which by the way, I'm going to put a link down below, incredible interview, one of the top, team leaders in the country. It's called Gratitude for Greatness. So check out the link down below. Really good interview. But what's your time? How many hours a day do you need to get after it and prospect and sell to consider the day a win?
That's a great question. 6 hours a day I spend on new business activities. And if I can bring one client in per hour as my baseline minimum, I'm bringing in 6 clients every single day. And if I can convert at a 50% ratio, I'm funding 3 files a day. So if I look at that same question and say, well, if I prospect for an hour a day, I'm bringing in a client a day. Now I'm funding a third of a loan a day or a half a loan a day. It's a very simple equation. So the more time you spend prospecting, the more deals that you bring in. You can only prospect if you take the first 2 hours of your day and spend time with the admin stuff and the clerical stuff. So when the game starts, you can really focus on prospecting and give those clients your undivided attention.
Love that. So by the way, guys, that was a huge takeaway. Most loan officers I know, it's an hour, it's 2 hours. You are organizing yourself with a combination of team and focus so that it's 6 hours and one deal an hour. So at a minimum, if you're prospecting, an hour a day, it should be one deal a day, 20 open loans. And if that's not what you're getting, what can you do to improve your lead funnels, your conversion strategies? So anyways, I think that was powerful. Paul, how would you answer the same question? What is winning the day for you? And also would love to know how you prospect and how you create, what are your standards to prospect?
Sure. I think if you interviewed many successful people, we pretty much have a similar answer to what Ben had. I have found that the most successful people block out time, they block out money-making activities, they start their day early. Early on in my career, I started working at 17 in New York, and I remember the line of all business decisions are made before 9 a.m. And when somebody's thinking about buying or closing a deal or who they're going to choose, those decisions are usually made early in the morning before the day starts. So you've got to jump on those decisions. So, for me, yes, I have a color-coded calendar. And for me, yes, I block time out for money-making activities, for follow-up, for just overall management ideas. I try to clear out my day, much like what Ben said, as far as focusing on the important tasks in the middle of the day. The thing, and I also know Ben does this as well, but I think the thing I've really changed more recently to win the day is I believe a lot in coaching others, and it's one of those ways to indirectly prospect. It's easy to after you've done this a long time, we all have a book of business, and it's easy to have a team that follows up and manage that task and manage that system. But for me to actually personally one-on-one find somebody great and help them find something that they can do just a little bit better and watch that success, that indirectly becomes prospecting back for me, because I do believe in the pay it forward, and that's something that's been working for me to win the day. Dave, you still there?
I loved it.
Hey, sorry about that, guys.
Oh, no problem.
I was on mute, didn't realize it. Hey, Ben, any follow-up questions on prospecting, winning the day that you have for Paul? It's always great to get an engagement between you two going.
Yeah, you're such an elite real estate agent, and most agents have tough time getting up early. So how do you coach agents to get that first hour started when most of the time they don't think of themselves as being self-employed? You're an entrepreneur, you get it, you run a company. So how do you get agents to kind of seize the day and how important that first hour of the day is as you're coaching them?
I actually think it's a big differentiator between those that are going to have great success and those that they're still struggling to find it. And so I really tried to start right there as far as, A, do you want the success? And do you realize the habits that successful people have? I tend to find less successful people in life think successful people are lucky. And rarely do they realize the work habits and the systems and the 10, 12, 15-hour days that we put in to get there. And more importantly, the scheduling. And so I think really sitting back and kind of showing examples of who those people are and what they do. And in every town I visit, as far as real estate goes, there's always that one car that's in the real estate office every single Sunday afternoon that everybody knows that person is there. And that person's always a top agent. And there's always that one car that's the first in the parking lot or the last to leave. And, it is related. It doesn't mean you have to work 12, 15 hours. You can be organized and you can have balance in life. I completely agree with that. But I do believe that it's very important for that whoever I'm with to understand that they can get ahead of the curve. They can be proactive and not reactive.
That's great.
Love that. And, both hearing Paul, hearing Ben, that concept that you pick your habits and your habits pick your life. I think you guys epitomize that. And just about every time I interview a top producer, it's like they have great habits. They prospect consistently. They use their systems consistently with every buyer. Ben, anything you want to add on to that or anything else you want to ask Paul before we get into some of the other ideas and questions?
No, I think just to add on to what he said, there's no shortcuts to success. and we all want to be really great at what we do. And I was told a long time by my high school basketball coach that greatness is a lonely road because few people are on it. So what things are you willing to do? What sacrifices are you willing to make? Is it time with the family? Is it sleep? Is it that extra cup of coffee to make the extra phone call? You know, that one extra call that you don't want to make can lead to 10 more loans. And if your mind is set on accomplishing that, you will. And I like to look at the word mindset as you setting your mind on your goal. So getting up in the morning saying, I'm going to get to the office at 7 o'clock because my mind is set on that, or 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock. And by 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to set my mind on money-making activities, such as making that ask, like Paul said, before 9:30 in the morning. So everything that you said, I agree with 100%.
Love it. So guys, I'm going to ask you both in just a minute, you know, what are some of your secrets and strategies to your success? Because I think we've laid the foundation of what do you do in the day, what's winning for you. Paul, I know, you know, we both have new relationships. You know, Ben is new as a mortgage coach, community leader. He's been successful for a long time, but him and his team are now using, you know, our total cost analysis. I know you guys have somewhat of a new relationship. You know, what is your expectation, you know, for Ben and your lender when you give them a referral? You know, a guy like you, what do you expect? You know, what's the communication? What are the habits? What's the service levels you're looking for your lender partner?
You know, you use the number one most important word by far, communication. You know, it never ceases to amaze me how many mortgage professionals will send the email every week with their interest rates and their jumbos and so forth, and how uninspiring that is. You know, it really doesn't tell me anything about that mortgage professional. And many times over the years, unfortunately, I'd say close to, it feels like 90 to 99%, you do not get the communication once you email that person back and give them a client, and the client ends up unhappy that that the communication either was non-existent or not accurate. You know, so for me, just having somebody that will return the phone call, somebody that will do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it, is so much more important than what is the interest rate. You know, in this particular relationship, I used the term pay it forward early on, and Lend US Ben specifically was very pay it forward, meaning he went and I watched him help agents with their business and their sales without even mentioning send me a mortgage client. And that showed me right there that, you know, he sees the big picture. And for the kind of clients I deal with, I mean, some of the most powerful CEOs, actors, producers on the planet, I need somebody that gets that, and Ben definitely gets that.
Love that. Ben, any questions you have for Paul around that?
Yeah, so you just to the mortgage community, right? What are the mistakes you've seen? Because I really want to help loan officers get into the mind of someone. Most of them won't even ever sit across the table with someone at your caliber. So, and you coach, you know, hundreds and hundreds of realtors as well. So what is the best way to land that relationship in this business market we're in for loan officers? Speaking to someone that's done everything you've done, $1 billion, right? Not necessarily winning your relationship, but winning others that are realtors. How would I, as a LO, pay it forward? How would you advise us?
You know, sincerely care about what it is that person does. You know, rather than being behind your desk thinking, okay, I'm a loan officer, I'm busy, it's a tough industry right now, everyone's shaving points, everything's changed, it's harder than ever to get a mortgage. That's typical stuff we hear, you know. To be different, to really come in and ask the realtor, how is their real estate business, regardless of loans, or what is it I can do to help you? And that, just that right there is such a difference, you know. No broker that's successful will immediately key into somebody who's genuinely and authentically present enough to want to help and be open-minded as to what that means. Just being present and not having a pitch, I think, is important.
Love that. Guys, we've heard that so much. In today's world, yes, you need to use technology, you need to text, email, but you need to hurry up, speed to lead, speed to go from borrowers confused to they're clear, but you need to slow down and be present and really emotionally connected. You just heard that. Ben, anything else along this line of questions before I hit you with the next one?
No, that was perfect. I love the answer.
Yeah, no doubt. And remember, community, we're going to have time for your questions. In fact, I've already integrated a few of your questions into the conversation. So if you do have a question, put it in chat. I can already tell that all the questions are going to get answered. We've got another 37 minutes. We're 23 minutes into this. So Ben, I'm going to ask this question to you, and then Paul, I'm going to ask you the same question. But what are some of the specific strategies and tactics that you're deploying to drive, the success levels that you have in the business you have in 2018?
Well, number one, being aware of what's happening and what's changing around you, and that you can't sit back and just wait for referrals to fall out of the sky anymore. You have to go out there and get the business more than ever before. So it's about your media, and it's about your brand, and it's about getting to the customer first and helping them with their early on decisions. You see the commercials like Quicken Loans that are running their advertisements where the buyer goes up to a home, and they, before they even can walk in the door, have to have that pre-approval in their hands. More companies now are doing the advanced approval process, the full underwrites up front. So the advancements that I'm trying to make to always be visible and always be in front of the customer is getting me a lot more customers before they make their decision. And then I become more of the advisor, and I can then guide them to using the right realtor sometimes. So the best thing I can do to support my realtors is by getting them more customers as well, because we all need more customers.
Love it. So strategy number one is you are building a brand, you are creating demand in the marketplace, and you're generating leads, whether that's your past customers. And again, I know your model, you're doing a lot of things, but what are some of those tactics and strategies that you're doing so that you're creating leads before the agent? You're creating leads.
Yes, I think it's very simple. It's creating massive value by educating people and giving them things that they haven't heard before. Tell them your secrets, be transparent. Use Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter to just share what's going on in your mind and in your heart and in your head. Such as, hey, guess what? If you don't buy now, you're going to lose X per month if rates keep climbing. Hey, here's how you can pay your mortgage down faster by making extra payments by going bi-monthly versus bi-weekly. Just different things that I know are strategies that I'm sharing. And after I make that share and I educate, I say, hey, and by the way, if you'd like to apply with me, here's my cell phone number. Give me a call. I'm open, I'm honest, here's what I can do to help you. But it starts with educating the customer with all the things I know that I've closed 10,000 loans. I know a thing or two. Even if you close 50 loans, you know a lot more than the consumer does. So by telling the consumer transparently, here's how I make money on your transaction. Here's how you can get the cheapest mortgage rate. Here's how banks earn on you. They will then take that advice as education, know, like, and trust you, and then want to work with you.
Love it. Now you started deploying Mortgage Coach total cost analysis in your mortgage practice, this year. What was the why behind that? Why now is the time to deploy the total cost?
The technology is amazing, but it saves me time. So I can focus on my brand because I bring customers into myself now more than ever before. So the ability to make one presentation, give them their option and let them choose, and then run from there and give the file to my team versus here's one quote, I'll type the whole thing out, take me 15 minutes, and then 5 more conversations. I couldn't scale. And like Paul said, the need to be first and have speed and be efficient is the most important thing. So it just saves me time.
So everybody watch this. I'm going to put a link down below to what we call the lead conversion playbook. And a lot of things that are being discussed, for strategies, it's got 3 principles, 13 strategies. If you want to optimize conversion, check it out. Obviously giving families a total cost analysis will improve your conversion. But here's the other thing. It will also increase your leads, because every time you run a credit report for a family and you give them mortgage options, there's other family members and advisors that are stakeholders in that. And if you do more than a rate quote, you deliver this total cost analysis. It's digital and shareable. You know, the father-in-law that's loading on the down payments in the loop, the realtor's in the loop, the financial planner's in the loop. I don't know if you've experienced that yet, Ben, and if that was part of your why, but it's really turning something that you do every day into this viral presentation. It converts and generates leads.
It saves everybody time in the process too, because you know a homeowner that's looking at an email quote or is looking just on their own notepad for what you told them, they tend to get lost in that. And when they come back to look at it later, they forgot where they started. They have to call you, or maybe someone else has the time to kind of scoot in there and steal that business away. But giving someone a clean, concise presentation that they can share with those who are advising or gifting them money makes you just seem like a smart loan officer. So to me, it's made me a smarter looking and appearing loan officer. And now I can spend my extra time focusing on connecting with them, making them know, like, and trust me, asking them the personal questions on the application, because they already now understand that, look, here's a presentation. What more do you need?
Love it. So mortgage coach community, I'm going to put a few links to Ben's total cost analysis, a few examples below. Ben, before we wrap this up, in the last quarter of the call, I want to walk through one of the 3 TCAs that you walked us through. But Paul, I throw that same question to you. What are some of the strategies you're deploying to drive your success?
You went blank there a little bit. I believe you said strategies to drive my success.
Yeah, what are a couple of the top strategies?
You know, I think today it's very important to understand what it feels like to be a client. You know, the technology, I think many of us are fighting the technology as if we're afraid it's going to replace us somehow. And I think what Ben said is perfect in that the technology is there as a tool. It's there to free our time up to have more interaction with the client. So embrace the technology that makes our customers' lives, our clients' lives better, but also understand the amount of noise that client hears, the confusion out there. So really try to put yourself in that client's shoes. What is it that they like? We know they're using Zillow. We know they're using mortgage coaching, apps, and you embrace that, obviously, but what's left? What are the questions left? What are the needs left? What is it we can do to really be aware of what it feels like to be a client today and help them sort through all of the mess and all of the noise and just narrow it down to be there and be able to communicate what is left, to add value after the technology. And I think the more we focus on what is our value, and in addition to the technology that's out there, and how to help the client better understand that technology and train the client and educate the client, the more we understand what is our value add, I think the more value we will have in the community.
No, I love that. And I'm going to share my desktop real quick, folks. You know, if you guys can confirm that you can see it, because you pretty much nailed 2 of the key principles in the lead conversion playbook. Again, this is an article. I'm putting a link down below. But when you look at the 3 principles, you know, technology isn't going to replace loan officers or realtors, but loan officers and realtors who master technology will replace loan officers that don't. You know, you said that, differently. Number 2, let's face it, whether you're a realtor, whether you're a mortgage professional, there's a tech competitor out there. And then you need to slow down. You need to boost your empathy, double down on your humanity. And when you do get face-to-face with someone, be present. You said it. What do you want? You want a realtor that responds quickly, communicates effectively, and is present. And by the way, that's not so common in today's world. It really isn't. And then number 3, and I want to ask both of you this question. One of the key principles we've seen in conversion is that you got to turn all your clients and all your friends into digital friends. That means that how they want to communicate, because it's not just phone, and in person. It's text, Facebook. You need to get them to download your apps. So if you're a mortgage coach, you need to get them to download your mortgage coach app and other apps. So Paul, I throw that to you. What are you doing to convert your clients into quote unquote digital clients, especially if you're doing real estate all over the world the way that you're doing it?
Dave, you went blank right in the middle of what you said. Can you try that one more time?
Yeah, I said, what are you know, this digital friend concept, what are you doing to, because you're doing business all over the world, it sounds like. How are you converting your clients into digital friends? Like, what is your strategy with how you're communicating and how you're turning a client and a friend into a digital friend?
Yeah, that's a good topic. I like that topic, this topic, because I've noticed that I have clients and friends that prefer Twitter. I have clients and friends that prefer Instagram only or Facebook or some. Lately, it's been even more LinkedIn than I've seen in the last few years.
Totally.
I think everyone's trying to define what their comfort zone is. Additionally, I think pushback on what is perceived as stalking with technology. That, for example, I have the ability to put myself on their Facebook feeds every morning if I want to, and I mean, with today's technology, we can really stalk our clients and figure out what they're looking at, what they're doing, and so forth. So I think we have to be respectful of what our powers are with technology, and we have to be respectful of what it is our client prefers as their mode of technology, and really store that. Like, so when we add a contact to our database, we have to store, is it Instagram, is it Facebook, is it Twitter that they prefer? And then for me, I communicate through that means. And I've just developed that habit over the last few years, and I stick with it.
I love that. And I hope that was everybody's takeaway, because I interview a lot of realtors and loan officers, and not enough are executing well around that. So I ask everybody, are you asking people what's their preferred channel of communication? Are you putting that in your CRM? And then, by the way, are you actually executing around that? And by the way, is your team executing? Does the whole team know that, hey, this client prefers text? Oh, hey, this client loves Facebook and we can use Facebook Messenger with them. Are you doing that? Ben, I throw the same question to you. What are you doing to turn your clients and friends into digital friends?
Well, I think as a loan officer, we're at a disadvantage because the real estate agent already has that FaceTime, and they really, really, really get the ability to care and help the person because you can see him and you can take him to coffee, and they're working with the person because there's an emotional connection on how's the kitchen, how's the bathroom, how's this going to fit your family and that lifestyle. So they have the kind of a head start on us when it comes to really becoming their friend on Facebook. And forever, as a loan officer, we were just a signature line, and we talk on the phone and never really get to engage the customer other than take the application. Then we put our picture on our signature line. Then we got to use social media. So now it's truly showing the loan officer that they can open up their life through Instagram, through Facebook, through LinkedIn, and through Twitter. And if you can make that customer a fan and follow you because you help them achieve their American dream, you can be generational with these people, and they can see what you do with your kids and how you are with their kids, like their photos, comment on their pages, interact with them. All your buyers are on Instagram and on LinkedIn and on Facebook. And so if you can connect with every single customer that you have and follow them and like them and share your journey with them, share with them, hey, this is what the inside of a loan office looks like. Look at my desk on my computer. This is where I got your loan done. They've got no reason to leave you, and they'll share those things with their friends. So it's really putting yourself out there, because you only sometimes have the cell phone and the Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter as your connection, and then really getting into their living room and show them that I really care about you. How is your kitchen? How is your bathroom after we closed? How is your kid starting school in September? Did you buy him back to school clothes, right? Show me a picture of where you guys went shopping. Those are easy ways to get people just to think and show and like and know you above and beyond what we used to just have, which is an email.
Love it. Love it. So, Ben, I'm going to ask one more question on this because it's the mortgage coach community. Make sure everybody really connects on part of making someone a digital friend is delivering a digital total cost analysis. So of the 3 scenarios that you sent me, which of the 3 is kind of most on point? We've got the new purchase net worth, we've got the new purchase total interest, and we've got the rent versus own. I want to make sure everyone, just 3 minutes, understands how you're delivering a TCA, call it the digital point of sale experience so that the client understands their options. Which of those 3 would you want to showcase?
I like the rent versus own because I'm overwhelmingly huge into the first time home buyer pursuit these days. And I think just you change their life the most. So I like that one.
Okay, so I'm on it. And again, folks, just want you to recognize, rather than delivering the fee worksheet, it's branded, it's got Ben's photo, it's clickable, it's shareable, you can add a video to it. So, I mean, this is the way you take, every single credit report, every single pre-qual, and you better communicate with the family so they understand your options, and you do it in a way that builds your brand. Anything you want to call out in this particular one before we get into some other questions?
I mean, look how much green there is. Green means
right.
good. Green means positive. It's growth and money. Everything green's happy. So I love the fact that it's color coded and your eye goes right to the green. And in any option, you're better off with the green than the red.
Right. So again, folks, that's the other part. To help someone go from, I'm confused, should I buy now? Should I wait 3 months? Should I wait 6 months? Should I pay the amount I need so that my offer gets accepted? Or should I just try to slow roll this? Graphs and charts, show people how to build wealth with real estate, make it visual, put the client's assumptions in here. What do you think is going to happen with the appreciation of interest rates? Oh, you think it's going to go up? Boom. What do you think is going to happen with interest rates? Oh, you think they're going to go up at an 8, quarter to a half? Let's put that in. And now you help that family make a better decision. So this is an example of a mortgage coach rent versus own. We'll put a cost of waiting. We'll put just purchase options. There'll be links down below. So check that out. So I want to ask you guys both a really important question because there are a lot of new loan officers coming into the mortgage space. And by the way, a lot of new realtors coming into the real estate space. So you first, Ben, what advice, knowing what you know today, if you were getting into business today, or let's just say it's a loan officer that's 2 years in the business, 2 months, 2 years, what's the number one most important advice you'd give that new loan officer? And then Paul, I'm going to ask you that only from a realtor's perspective.
Build your brand, period. Build
What does that mean? What does that mean to a new loan officer that, doesn't have my brand? What does that mean?
People want to work with people. And so you're not just someone spouting off an interest rate. You have to care and love on these people and make them follow what you're doing and show them that, look, I went to war with underwriting because you matter to me and I wanted to put your family into a home. A computer or a widget or artificial intelligence can't care about somebody. And as much as this system that we're in is trying to go all digital and away from human connection so that they can cut into how much we cost the process, we have to fight for that by building our brand. And the more we can engage these individuals and show them that we care about them, we'll get you home on time, the more that means a lot. And then continue to pursue that relationship like you're either with your wife or you're dating someone. You don't just win them by putting the ring on the finger. You have to, then that's when the actual work really begins. It's a 20 or 30-year journey you're going to go on with them and remind them of that. So check in with them. But if your brand is built strong, they'll be able to see you grow as a loan officer that starts today. And back in the day, we didn't have this thing called the internet or technology. When I was writing out handwritten tenants, we were using Galaxy Point, where we had a huge disadvantage where people coming into business now can come in there. And if you have 10,000 friends on social media, there's 10,000 potential customers built into your network already. So use your influence and use your brand.
So new loan officers, one, we have a playlist called New Loan Officer Playlist in our YouTube channel. And we attract a lot of new loan officers. But, you know, be very intentional about your social media platform, the picture you have. Every time you give a rate quote or purchase options or a pre-approval, put it into a total cost analysis, because now you're personally branding it. And by the way, add a video. I just saw an interview or a video from a new loan officer with Churchill Mortgage, killing it by being herself. You know, just show up. And when you do video, you are yourself. So can't emphasize enough. Paul, how do you answer that question?
It's hard to answer it differently. You know, what Ben said, building trust, you know, really defining who you are, being authentic about it, and creating that trust is a major key. You know, I'd say, adding to that, I would say treat yourself like a business from day one. Understand the difference between being a real estate agent, a loan officer, or a business, and really looking at it like, what's your business plan? What is your long-term marketing plan? Where do you want to be in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? You know, I look back at my mistakes, and one of my biggest mistakes was starting out and the first few years just going after any listing I could get, you know, and I would sell anything, everything. Obviously, I sold a lot of homes and loved doing it, but if I were to do it over again, I would define my marketing with the luxury look and the luxury message and the authentic message that I've used for the last 10 years. I would have done that from day one, started there, stayed there, been authentic to that, built the trust with that, known who my team was, known what my marketing budget was, understood that it is a business every day. And if you start from that first morning with that mentality, you'll have a great career.
Love it. So guys, I'm going to get to all your questions in just a second. Also, within the context of that question, I interviewed top realtor Nicole Solari a few weeks ago on her open house strategy. She's only been in the business 4 years. She did 197 sides last year. And her number one referral source was open houses. So down below, I'm going to put a link to that, because I also think, you know, great strategy. You're new in the business. You got to get where families are, where you can meet people and connect with people. So check out that interview down below. So Paul, I'm going to ask you this question first, and then I'm just going to do audience questions for the last 15 minutes. But is there a quote or, you know, a principle, like if there was one quote that you heard that just sticks in your mind that you're all about, but is there any one quote that really matters the most to you? And Ben, be ready for that same question.
Sure. Never cut down a tree in winter, which to me, it's a Steve Jobs quote. Just basically, you know, when the market gets a little tough, don't overreact. When the market gets great, don't overspend. You know, you've got to make wise decisions when you're not emotional.
Love that. Ben, any quotes that come to mind for you?
Yeah, one that I love is Maya Angelou that says, "Nothing will work unless you do." And I think that's important for me, because oftentimes people want to blame that their company's not doing this or doing that, right? And I always say, look, if I was going to ever have a television show or a radio show like you have, I would call it and I let people call in, and they would give me their junk, their divorce, their drama, their loan that fell out, their child that has an illness, and their lead flow that didn't break down, or how they lost their job, or they got broken up with. And I let them get it all out, and I'd say, and get on with it, right? Next. So give me all your garbage. Someone's got it worse, and just because complaining does nothing for anybody. And you have to just be like, nothing works unless I do. I can only fix my problem with my own effort. I mean, I'd be the smartest guy in the world, but I can control how hard I work.
Love that. By the way, don't you have a TV show now?
Hopefully soon. We're starting this up with Craig Sewing called American Dream Home TV. It's going to hopefully help agents brand themselves. So it's been an awesome experience so far. They're building a studio in my office right now, and it's going to allow me to give agents a platform to share what's going on in their market. Angle Volkers, who obviously Paul and Mark and Dugan, those guys have been supporting us, and we're bringing their team into it. But we just want to help agents have a platform to brand themselves like we're doing ourselves.
Yeah, well, no doubt. And anybody watching this, I hope it increases the value of video, of content, of education. Showing up and leading is the way forward. Make sure you follow both of these guys on social. Connect with them on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. So I'm going to go to just pure audience questions for the rest of this. And by the way, if either one of you wants to ask each other a question, feel free. I think this question is for you, Ben, but it says, besides getting on the phone with realtors, how much time do you put in taking them to lunch, dinner, spending time with them outside of the office?
To be honest, not a whole lot, because that's not where my value best is added for them. I don't want to be the guy that is always open for coffee and lunch. That's just not going to be my mentality. My mentality is, let me help you make money, and let's work on money making activities. And then once we close deals, let's celebrate that accomplishment with the customer and make it more meaningful. But I'm not here just to take you to lunch and talk about the business. Let's accomplish something and then have conversations around that accomplishment and get to grow our businesses together, and then have our families come to that and then click on that level when we can actually make money together. But if we're not making money, then the meals don't make sense.
I like that. And by the way, just the mentality that you're so focused on driving success for them that, whining and dining isn't a priority. By the way, don't you have like a mobile van or something that you're always cruising around in? What's that all about?
Well, it's all about saving time. And that's what I'm like coaching loan officers to do, is you can only make the most money if you make the most calls and attempts. So I hired a driver and got myself a mobile office. So when I'm going to see Paul in Beverly Hills, that's a 2-hour drive. It's frustrating. Or I can take those 2 hours on the road and hammer out 45 phone calls, get 3 more leads, and have that drive pay for the driving service. So that's what my coaching system that I'm doing is about, is teaching loan officers how to make more money, save more time, and be more efficient.
Love that. By the way, if anyone wants to connect with you outside of this call, learn more about your coaching platform and some of the other things you're doing, what's the best way to connect with you?
You can text me or call me. My cell phone is 949-302-7255. Info@ba365.live. Again, it's info@ba365.live. And our website is benanderson365.com, because it's about making money every single day. And people on this coaching call, I'm going to give them, if they want, a one-time free coaching lesson where I can dig down in their business and find out what's not working the best and how to get them better.
So check it out. If you're listening to this in our video, we'll put a link down below. Reach out to Ben, and thank you, Ben, for giving the Mortgage Coach members a free session with you. Given how busy you are and how successful you are, that is an amazing gift. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
So Paul, how? Here's a question for you. What is most effective farm technique? And then they said Redfin, Purple, Zillow, direct to lender. I don't know. Let's just go with, what is the most effective farm technique for you?
For me, I call it the rule of threes. I believe you have to be reaching people very consistently with 3 forms of marketing, whether it's postcards, print for that specific local area, maybe it's television, maybe it's radio, maybe it's right now Facebook ads, Google ads, and postcards and print. People need to know, as Ben said earlier, you have to promote yourself. People want to deal with a person, and you have to find ways to connect. And the more they see you, the more comfortable they are, because there's certainly a trust factor in today's world where there's so many ads hitting so many people. Whereas if you can prove the consistency, and that's generally not 1 postcard a month, that's at least 3 postcards a month for realtors starting out that want to go out and spend 3 months and do a postcard a month. I don't think you're going to have any success. It's worth really sitting back and taking the investment and saying, I'm going to hit my farm area 3 times a month. I'm going to hit them with postcards. I'm going to hit them with Google ads, Facebook ads, not 2 in their face, not every day, nothing like that, but very real messages. What's going on in the community? What just sold? What didn't sell? What's going on with Lend US? How can they help you? Maybe it's the app that helps really understand the cost of doing a mortgage. It's helping the community. It's helping your area, and taking it and being genuine and building the trust.
Love it. So Ben, Hillary from Facebook Live wants to know, with your first meeting with a potential new referral source, do you usually do that in person, coffee, lunch, your office, their office, virtual? How do you take your first meetings with big referral partners?
100% always in person. I'll never discuss anything over the phone unless it's just someone like Paul, who is traveling too much, but we can't already know each other. But, it's always face to face. I always ask questions, and I always ask questions that lead to more questions, such as, tell me about your business. Where do you work? What client do you work with? Who is the best customer for you? How can I refer you business? What's your business most needing? Every single thing I ask is a question. Let them just get it all out, because they don't care about your interest rates, to Paul's point. They don't care about your flyers. They care about how you can help their business. And you can only know that if you ask them. But it's always face to face. I always do a coffee, because if it turns out to be someone that is not worth waiting for, you can end it a lot shorter than, hey, let's get the tip, get the bill, and our dessert's not here yet. So lunches to me aren't great for first meetings, because they can be overwhelming. And if it's not a great meeting, you can't get out of it. So to me, coffee keeps it short, keeps it casual. And I always ask questions and go from there.
Love it. So by the way, we're going to put a few more links down below to other interviews I've done. I actually interviewed Cindy Ertman on her first Realtor meeting. Great stuff down below. I interviewed Jeremy Forcier on the 5 questions he asks every agent down below. And then Ben, let's you and I spend a whole hour. Let's do another call and just really drill down on, what you do to get those big meetings and how you show up in those meetings. Is that something you'd be game for?
Yeah, because I'll tell you that over the past, look, I'll be honest with everybody here. I was not into the purchase game 2 years ago. You look at my numbers on Scotsman Guide, I was 90+% refi. I did 15 million in purchase this month, my record month ever for purchase, and it's going bigger. And a lot of that is obviously thanks to Mortgage Coach and the systems that are there that allow me more time. And I've got over 200 buyers currently shopping for homes as we speak, because I'm driving my message home through things like Mortgage Coach. And what I'm getting at is, with the way I've approached relationships first by Pay It Forward with Engel Volkers and now Paul, every single realtor I have sat down with has been willing to work with me hand over fist, because I've cared about them. I've shown them that they can trust me. And I've said, let's get your business to be better with me than without me.
Love that. Just got a question from Sue. Wants to know, what is your favorite book? Is there a book or anything that you've received as a gift or you've given as a gift? What's the top book that you guys would recommend?
Endless Referrals.
Endless Referrals. And is that a book that you give to people, or is that just a book you love?
I love it. And then rule number 1, don't be number 2.
Who are the authors on those two?
David Milstein, who owns the mortgage company. So you guys know David.
Yeah.
I love these books that he wrote. And then Endless Referrals. And what this taught me, this is by Bob Berg, what this taught me is the key to Pay It Forward and how you get referrals is by asking, is by helping without asking. And really, truly by going into these meetings with realtors and asking them questions. And one great piece of advice I got from this book is always end the conversation with a realtor by saying, what kind of customer is best for you, right? What kind of borrower or seller is best for you? Who is your niche? I already know Paul's is luxury. So who can I refer to you as opposed to what can I get from you?
Love that. By the way, someone just said, hey, where's the links down below? I'm assuming you're watching this on YouTube, and there's a description area down below where all the links and the information will be. So if you're on this live, go check out the description or email our support team and we'll forward that to you. Paul, how would you answer that? What's a favorite book or a book you've given or received as a gift a lot?
Oh, sure. Really, I'll answer it two ways. The book I have given the most lately would be Ninja Selling, just because I think it really gives a different perspective for real estate agents that really stay on the basics and go into the psychology of the sale. But I'd still say, I mean, it's very old school, and I'm dating myself to say this, but the book that's influenced me the most in my life is How to Win Friends, Influence People, Dale Carnegie. 40 years ago, 30 years ago, and 20 years ago, it's still that Bible that reminds me to smile with everyone you meet and be genuine and care about the person you're in front of.
I love that. And that's such good advice. And by the way, Ninja Selling by Larry Kendall, awesome book. I actually did an interview with Bill Hart, and he talked about the dual market, you know, how there's this dual market opportunity where the low end, you know, is selling quick, the high end isn't. Identify the buyers that are kind of at the high end of the low end that could sell, and then buy in the upper end. Anyways, you should listen to that interview. I'll put a link down below. Also, we did an interview with Larry Kendall himself. I'll put a link to that down below. Really good book. Love that you brought it up. So, gentlemen, we got a minute each. Ben, do you have any closing questions for Paul before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I do. Paul, Purple Bricks, Redfin, Zillow, price compression, digital everything, erase a realtor from his seat. How do you continue to stay in front of that as someone that's elite? And more importantly, how do you advise other realtors who are fearful that a robot will sell a house for them? How do you keep them in their seats?
Absolutely. That's a daily question lately. I just got back from the Inman conference last week in San Francisco, and you know, the 42 major U.S. real estate companies. It was 36 of the 42 that really spoke about absolutely nothing except for technology. And I mean, pulling information from clients and having the technology is super important. I get that, but we're sticking to our roots. You know, we're sticking to the roots of people. This is a people business. Home buying, home selling, mortgages. It's some of the most emotional, one of the largest investments of a person's life, and certainly one of the most personal. And you really need to keep it personal and just ignore the noise. Just be good at being present, be good at servicing the client, know what you do to bring value to the table, and let everybody else kind of fight it out in that technology world. Because Ingle Volkers, we have great technology, but we really teach our agents, coach our agents, and mentor our agents to focus on the client and offer exceptional service to everyone they meet, regardless of whether it's a home sale or just helping somebody in the community. And I'd throw that same question back to you, Ben. Like, what can we do with all the mortgage companies out there? I know you have many partners like myself that really want to give back what you're doing for us. What can we do to get your name out there more and to show your value more?
Well, I mean, to really show that not all loan companies are the same, and that every company can be different. So a lot of times that the homeowner may have a misconceived notion about the home buying process, but you have to trust your loan advisor early on in the process and get to them first. And by giving someone's information out early, I can truly guide them, and I can trustfully push them in the right direction to get them to see, with a total cost analysis, rent versus own, that you cannot wait on this decision because prices may be out of your league here pretty soon. And by getting someone like me early, I'm actually helping you close the deal.
Fantastic.
Love it, guys. So by the way, I hope the takeaway for everyone is to thrive in the future from these two just giants in the business. You've got to be present like never before. You've got to elevate your humanity and your connection, but you need to leverage technology so that you can press time. You have more time. You know, this concept where, oh, I have a CRM, but I never use it. Ha, ha, ha. No, that is not going to work in 2020 and beyond. Both of these gentlemen are using Zoom. You know, we're on a call. They're using video. This concept where I know I should use video, but I don't. I mean, let's put it this way. There is a race to 2020 going on right now. And folks that are not using technology, video, mortgage coach, their CRM, they're going uphill with the wind at their face. It's not going to get easier. And those that, do, you're going downhill with the wind at your back. And so I hope every mortgage professional and real estate professional is embracing that. We're not here to say that technology is going to take you out. We're just here to say if you don't leverage it, you're not gonna be as present with as many people. So I hope you got a lot of value from today's call. There's links down below to everything. If you want to learn more about Mortgage Coach, there'll be a link down below to learn more about it. If you want to learn more about Ben Anderson's coaching platform, links down below. I recommend everybody follow these two gentlemen in social. And, guys, really appreciate you taking time to be transparent, to be authentic, and to deliver value. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Take care, everybody. This call is a wrap.